Squelch, 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 squelch.
Welcome back to Squelch the Video Game Book Club. I'm Dano.
And I'm Storm Rage, and only Dans are here to remind you that Mass Effect Andromeda is a game, and games are supposed to be fun.
It's just 100% they are when you're playing Mass Effect Andromeda. This game is fun. Is it perfect? No, it's not. But
No.
It is fun. It is a fun game.
Very fun.
It is a fun game, and games don't have to be perfect to be fun. I'm gonna die on that hill. So
I agree.
Thank you. I'm glad to hear that. This week we are heading to Aya, which we'll get there. We're heading to Aya. We're making first contact, and then we're going to Voeld, an ice planet, and then next week we're going to Havarl.
Havarl.
We're going to Havarl. It's terribly difficult to say. Havarl. And we're going to solve some problems. I've already been to Havarl. If you are playing along and you are in Voeld and you're like, holy buckets, there's so much here. How am I supposed to get to Havarl and do all that again? Much less to do in Havarl.
Havarl's a smaller planet.
Yeah. It's not even like you don't even get to use the Mako 2. It's that small.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Everything
it's just like this.
is walkable.
Yep. Yeah. There's a whole lot of different like fast travel points in it. Like you could really scoot around Havarl. Like I'm like, wow, I wish kind of the whole game was like this. This is actually really nice. I don't need to Mako 2. I don't need to drive on the Mako 2 for 5 minutes to make it seem big.
I like both. I do like that Havarl is just a small little guy, and I'm very excited to play it.
I do. So in Havarl, because I've already played through it, and because you don't have the Mako 2, you can't do any like mining because the Mako 2 is how you do the mining. So instead, they just have these mining crates that are kind of put all over the place. And I tell you what, that's a lot better than mining with the Mako 2. Mining with the Mako 2, that's a bit of a bust. It's because like you have to drive around in circles trying to find the right spot, and then you find the right spot, and then you have to kind of reverse up a hill to get to just start to maximize the amount of minerals. I'm like, it was a little bit easier from like when you were doing it from space, I would say, but it's a fun thing to try. I would say. So, all right, let's go thank some patrons.
Thanks. I am pretty incredible.
Thank.
Hey, it's Thanksgiving here in the United States, so I want to say thank you very much to our patrons and our Twitch subs. Your support keeps this podcast ticking. If you want to support the show, head over to twitch.tv/DanoPlay or patreon.com/squelch. $5 and above patrons get the podcast the night it is recorded, and all patrons get our bonus podcast, Squelch Before Dork, I guess we're calling it now.
Pre-dork, I think, is the
Squelch pre-dork
version.
The pre-dork. So we are recording it now before the episode goes live because we're old and tired, and recording after the episode is hard.
I get so sleepy.
Storm Rage and I did discuss it during pre-dork this week, what the plan is moving forward. And the plan is a little role-playing sessions, just kind of like us role-play sessioning around. So we're going to use Savage Worlds. We're going to keep it super rules light. And it's going to be Matt and Daniel playing a couple of adventurers in the world of Thetis at the time of Dragon Age Inquisition. Maybe or may not will run into the Inquisitor. They're going to, just so you know. And it's going to be my personal Inquisitor because I'm in charge.
I am going to play a rogue that has convinced himself he is a wizard.
It's going to be great. So look forward to that. If you get $1 a month, gets you access to the pre-dork. It's going to be short sessions, about 20 minutes before we get going. Just us just goofing around. So it should be a lot of fun. And while we're thanking people, it is Thanksgiving here in the United States. So I want to say thank you so very, very much to everyone who is still hanging out and listening to our podcast. I know We've said it multiple times, I think, over the years, but especially since our transition from Hearthstone to not Hearthstone, like those of you who are still hanging around and listening, it means the world to me. I'm sure it means the world to Matt and Storm Rage as well. But I just want to say thank you for continuing to hang out with us. We love doing this, and it's awesome that so many people still enjoy listening. So,
Yeah, I will echo those sentiments. Like, anytime that somebody gives any form of money to anything, it is you sharing the rewards of your hard work throughout the day, and any amount of funding that you give is significant and important and very much appreciated.
agreed. Let's head over to the lore.
This one's a real page turner.
Lo.
I was like, I don't think there is one for this one.
There isn't, but I started with the before my brain caught up with what was happening, and I was like, well, gotta find a way to bail out of this.
Well, now put it in the show notes.
No, we can't do it. We can't do it. We talked about this.
Lore.
If all I do is and then the thing, you said very specifically, I'm not allowed to do that.
Matt, there must be some sort of lore quote that you're in the chat. I see you there. There must be some sort of like Star Trek lore thing that he can go with there. So that one I feel like is on you. Lore being the evil twin brother of Data. If you haven't watched Next Generation, you're missing out just because you never got to experience lore. It's as amazing and stupid as it sounds. All right, so we're going to go through our writers' friends, our Tempest crew. We're going to skip the Nexus leadership. They don't really have anything to do with the next couple weeks of podcasting, so we're not going to worry about them really.
There will be a point where they come back into play a little bit more, but not while we're going out and settling worlds.
Yeah, so like we do run into Director Addison a little bit, I would say, in the next couple of weeks. I will say one thing about Director Addison. So she is the director in charge of settlements, basically. And so I don't want to forget to talk about this because it's so ridiculous. So whenever we create a new settlement, which is a huge deal, we are creating a settlement in a new galaxy, and she is the person in charge of it. Now, when a new settlement has been settled, what do you think she does? Do you think she like does a quick like? Do you think she just like does a quick voice chat? You're right. That's all she does. She just FaceTimes. She just FaceTimes in.
She's very busy. She's very busy doing other things besides her job, but she's very, very busy.
You even like the second time when you set up the settlement on Voeld, you're like, hey, like the writer says this to her, like, hey, are you gonna come down? She's like, no, it's very cold there, and I don't like being cold.
I do love that is her reasoning. Is it's so cold there? Why would I leave? I don't know.
It's your job.
For your job?
Like you traveled 600 years into the future. Everyone you know is dead. I don't know. Maybe leave your apartment. I'm just saying. That's enough about the leadership crew. All right, we got writers' friends here. So first up, we have Cora. She is our second in command. She was our dad's second in command. She's a human biotic. She's a bit of a Karen haircut. Next up is Liam. He is a... What is he's like kind of like a goofball with a big heart. He really tries. He's kind of like a soldier. He throws grenades. He's a good time. We have PB, an Asari biotic who is super into remnant technology. Vetra, a Torian soldier. She is a fixer who invited herself onto our ship. She is easy to forget. I forget she's one of my friends a lot. I very little personality there in Vetra. Then we have Drac, a Krogan wrecking ball. Apparently he's like 1,000 years old, calls everyone kid, and everyone calls him old man.
It's so good. I love Drac.
Drac is amazing. Drac and PB, like, so when you're driving around in the Mako 2, that's when you get your inter-party chatter. So, and so you'll get a lot. So when PB and Liam are there, PB will kind of flirt with him and he wants nothing to do with it. When PB and Cora are together, PB just gives Cora grief for being like super into Asari culture, like just like shames the heck out of her to the point where it's like, it's kind of a cultural appropriation there, Cora.
Yeah.
But PB and Drac are an absolute hoot. They are so much fun to bring out as a team because they have very opposite personalities, but then obviously like really like each other in a really fun way. And probably the most fun group to take out as a team. So
I would agree. That is my most common grouping. Them, and then I do Vetra and Jal a lot because that is also a fun combo.
Who?
Because Vetra and Jal.
I don't
we
know
haven't
that
met yet.
I don't know that last person. Jal. You said Jal.
Yeah.
I don't Jal.
I guess
no.
we'll have to get into the recap here soon.
Vetra and Jal. Yeah, I brought them out this week because on Havarl, we'll get to that next week. Why I brought Vetra along with Jal, but like it made the most sense to have those two bouncing around because of like what's happening story-wise in that area. So then we have our Tempest crew. These are also our friends, but they don't come on missions with us. First is Sam. He is our AI who was built by our dad. Every Pathfinder has apparently the connection to Sam that we have, is what the impression I got this week when playing through, because you do meet like some people from the Milky Way next week, and they're like, yeah, where's your Pathfinder at? And he's like, oh, I don't know, but I know he's still alive because Sam hasn't transferred to me yet, which makes me assume that like the connection to Sam that we have isn't special, and all Pathfinders have it. So,
yes and no. It is all Pathfinders have a more specific connection to Sam than the average person might, but ours is also more indebted because Sam saved us in a life or death situation. So I think if we were to die, it would not transfer the same way that it does for all of the other Pathfinders.
Gotcha. Now, does each Pathfinder have their own Sam that's based on the arc? Because our Sam is on our arc, right?
Yes, I believe
so
that is correct.
There's a Sam on each arc?
Yes, I
So
believe
there could be
that
an
is
evil
my
Sam out there.
understanding of it.
It could be an evil Sam that's like just gone completely rogue and dark. Man,
Yeah.
See, Mass Effect 4, The Revenge of Sam.
The Revenge of Sam.
Next up is Suvi. She is our science officer. Callow is our pilot, and he was the test pilot in the Milky Way and joined the initiative, stay with the ship. Lexi is our medical officer, and Gil is the Tempest engineer. He's not Tally, so not a big fan, to be completely honest. Anything to add to any of that?
No, I don't think
All right.
so. I think we nailed it.
All right, let's get into the recap.
Where's the Pathfinder?
You're looking at her.
You're not Alec Ryder.
You're not Alec Ryder.
God, he's the worst.
He is the absolute worst. Oh my gosh. All right, let's get into this. So, beginning of this week, we are flying through space like you do, and we run into a KETT ship. Nope, not a KETT ship. We run into a KETT armada, like all the KETT. We ran into them, including one giant KETT ship with a dude there who calls himself the Archon, very clearly in charge of the KETT, and he is super stoked to find us and is ready for us to turn ourselves over to him so he can make us better than we already are. He is like super excited. He's like, hey, come over here. I'm gonna make you awesome. And I'm like, I don't think so. And so he shuts
Actually,
down.
fun fact, I'm already pretty awesome. I'm good.
Yeah, I mean, I'm the Pathfinder. I'm not Alec Ryder, but still the Pathfinder.
But I swear, I'm the Pathfinder.
So instead of turning ourselves over to the KETT and ending the game, we decide to run away. The only way to get away is through the Scourge, which Sam very helpfully plots a course for us. So we run away with, very much a very much Han Solo running from the Empire through the asteroid field, where we're making it through just fine, but the KETT are running into different parts of the Scourge just before we get out. Just like Han does, we run ourselves into something and have to make an emergency landing. Luckily enough, we find ourselves a golden world, just like accidentally. Oopsie poopsie, look at that.
No, it's not an accident. Sam specifically plots for the golden world, for the vault, because that's where we're headed. It's not an accident. That is intentional.
Sure. Okay, it's intentional. So we find ourselves intentionally on a golden world.
Yeah.
With a working remnant tech on it, which we assume is why this thing is not absolutely trashed. We want to study this remnant tech, but sadly there are people on it. This is a Mass Effect RPG, which means there's one thing to do. It's time to get a killin'. Psych. We land and we just talk to them. We talk to them and we've met ourselves a new race of people. They say that they are the Angara and we're on the planet Aya. If you want to kind of imagine what the Angara look like, imagine a Twi'lek from Star Wars and an axolotl just like blended together. And that's kind of what you got. You got like an axolotl face and then like a Twi'lek like head situation going on. And then those funny like legs that go the wrong way and then other way the wrong way. So like...
Imagine if the people from Avatar were, like the blue people from Avatar were like 1/8 octopus. Like just a smidge of like a more ocean-centric creature. They've got like some tentacles on their
Twi'lek. They have
head.
Twi'lek. They have Twi'lek situations, like the Twi'lek things.
Yeah, but I don't know how many people know what the word Twi'lek means, Dano. So I'm trying to give them a more culturally broad explanation.
Okay, so a Twi'lek is, you remember when they're in Jabba's palace and there is like Jabba's like the weird dude like whispering in Jabba's ear? That's a Twi'lek.
I don't know how many people are going to remember the weird dude that's whispering in Jabba's ear.
Everyone's going to remember the weird dude whispering in Jabba's ear. That is the... And an axolotl.
Yeah. The axolotl is important there.
So, to put it mildly, they are not enthused that we are there. They're kind of gun shy because the last aliens they met were the KETT, and that did not go well. So, first up, the Pathfinder walks out on her own. The rest of the crew not excited about that, but she's like, hey, this is my job. It's time I found something. My words, not hers, but I think they're accurate. So we head out and we meet the governor of Aya, Parin Shi, and she seems pretty chill about it, actually. She's like, hey, greetings, welcome to Aya. Let's go meet with some people. Follow me. Do not go anywhere else. You will die. And if you do not follow her exactly, they will just kill you.
Do they really?
Yes, they just shoot you dead. Game over. Start again.
That's so good.
It is really good. So as we meet Paran, the governor of Aya, we also get to meet the leader of the resistance, Ephra. He is not as chill. He's like, my job is to resist, and I'm resisting, and you need to prove to us that you're not here to be like the KETT. And I'm like, we didn't shoot you? And he's like, well, what are you here for? And then you can like either give him a fib or give him the truth or a half truth. We are there for the remnant technology, which he kind of assumes, and not like really thrilled about that because it's the reason that the world Aya is not being destroyed by the Scourge like everything else. But he does appreciate honesty if you are honest with him. So he's like, well, you need to prove yourself to us to see that you are trusted. One of the resistance members that are with him, Jal, our new friend, is, well, why don't we go have them free Moshai? She's an Angaran expert on remnant technology. She's been captured by the tech. They're not going to do it, so we should go and do it. Which we're like, cool. That sounds like a plan. We like killing the KETT. We did a lot of it in the last planet we were on. We're pretty good at it. So, yeah, we take up the offer to go free Moshai. And he's like, yeah, before you can do that, though, before you can do the thing that we can't do and won't do, you need to do something else for us. Like, oh, okay, cool. We can do that. So like, okay, go to one of these 2 planets and do a thing that is helpful for us. And then if you do that, then we can talk about you and going to free Moshai, which is something, again, we can't and won't do, but we want it done, but go do something else first. It says go to Voeld or Havarl.
Havarl.
That word, I cannot say it. Voeld
sure
or
can.
Havarl. And do a thing. And then if you do one of the things, then we can talk about you freeing Moshai for us. Again, we're not getting anything out of this yet. We're doing a lot for them. It's cool, though. It's cool. They're having a rough 800 years of it. So
Yeah, I really like this. I like the counterplay that we have between First Contact for 2 different aliens. In Mass Effect, the original trilogy, we never saw First Contact with any aliens other than maybe the Reapers, I suppose, if you want to count them. But everybody else we had already had contact with previously before the game started. This is first time that we have come into contact with this race at all, but for both the KETT and the Angaran. And the KETT immediately just shot at us because for reasons that will become clear. But the Angaran, I think, represent, and I think the story is really interesting, told of like, hey, we won't kill you, but the last aliens we met only wanted to kill us, so you need to prove to us that you are willing to not be terrible. And it gives a reasonable thing of like, we can't do this, as you pointed out, we aren't going to do this because it would take too many supplies, so if you're able to do this thing that we can't do, we'll consider working with you more long-term and opening up more diplomatic relations. And I think that it is a fairly well-told and reasonable story to craft here based on the species' histories.
Agree 100%. Like, I make fun of like Ephra and the Resistance and like, oh, we're not going to trust you, but like it does actually make sense, especially when you think that they basically, what we kind of go to learn over the next like couple of weeks, we will learn that they've basically lost their entire culture to this war with the KETT. Like, they've lost their home world. They've lost connection to their past. They really only exist to fight the KETT at this point, and it's a losing battle. And so it does make sense where they are coming from. I don't blame them for it, but it is kind of fun to kind of poke fun at it. So I did do that. Yep.
How dare you? How dare you?
I know. So we did have 2 places to go. We chose to go to Voeld. It doesn't matter which place we go to first. It actually does, apparently. If you don't go to Voeld first, there are 3 quests that are either, quote, downgraded or skipped. So if you want to do more quests, go to Voeld first, I guess. But I didn't know that when we chose to go that way. You actually told us to the other way, but I didn't read the notes and went to Voeld, so we're going to Voeld first.
And
that's how that works. So we arrive at Voeld, and it is cold. Get it? Because it rhymes. It's a good joke. It's a good joke. It is minus 50 Celsius outside, which I think is pretty cold. I'm not 100% sure on that because here in the United States, we use freedom units to measure temperature. Yep. So I'm not sure exactly what minus 50 Celsius is, but I imagine it's pretty chilly.
It is quite cold.
Yeah. So this means that the cold is the environmental danger on this planet. So on Eos, the environmental danger was the radiation. On Voeld, it is the like brutal cold of kind of living through a literal ice age, which is what this planet is going through right now. There are no like immediate danger areas. Like on Eos, you would get to radiation level 3 zones, and like your health would immediately plummet, and that would kind of be that. Instead, you have cold level 1 and cold level 2. Like level 1, the entire planet is level 1, and it doesn't really affect you too much. There are these little heat zones in a bunch of different areas. Like anytime there's like a camp somewhere or something, there's these heat zones, and you kind of run to those, and it warms you up. And then they're the cold level 2. And while you're in cold level 2, like the environmental stress on your suit goes down much faster. And so you have to be much more aware of where these heat zones are at. And there's a lot more of cold level 2 throughout this planet. So like in EOS, like the game was kind of teaching us about how like the environmental danger kind of works. And then on Voeld, it's like, okay, and now that you understand how this works, we're going to actually kind of gamify this and make you be aware of your surroundings while you're out and about within the zone. While you're in combat, are you in 1 or are you in 2? If you're in 2, you have to be going to look for these heat zones to make sure that, you know, your armor isn't weakened and then you one-shot basically. So it's actually a pretty fun bit of gamification of the environment, which I appreciate quite a bit actually. So proving ourselves ends up being not really all that hard. First, we need to rescue some Angara who've been captured by the KETT. Once we do that, they put in a good word with Ephra, the leader of the resistance. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. We just found a KETT base, find some prisoners, and free them. Huzzah. That's all she wrote, really. Now that
it's pretty great.
Yeah, it's really basic. I appreciated that. Now that we've proved that we are evil like the KETT, it's time for us to go rescue Moshai. Again, Moshai she's like, basically like, what if Einstein were alive today and was studying technology that would keep us all alive? It's kind of like that a little bit. Like, she's like this hyper-revered scientist.
Yeah, she almost has like a religious aspect about her, even though she's not a religious figure. That is like the reverence that she is given is like a high religious figure of people don't worship her necessarily, but they listen to her unequivocally in ways that most other Angarans do not command that amount of respect.
Yeah, to the point where I kind of like read and heard the Moshai instead of Moshai, as it was like almost like Moshai was a title almost. Like, oh, that's the doctor, the cleric, the Moshai, right? It's almost like that level of reverence, which is very cool. So Moshai and a bunch of other Angara are in this massive KETT facility on the other side of the planet, so we don't travel there ourselves. We actually hitch a ride with some other Angarans. And there's this fancy force field around it, which is what is keeping them out. Now, luckily for us and for Moshai and the rest of the Angarans, we have a fancy AI by the name of Sam, who we believe, with help of the Angarans, can actually break through the force field. Once we break through, we start infiltrating the base, and we start to see weird things. Like, it's not like all what we expected. We see classrooms and lockers, and these things have Angaran DNA on it. And so while we're kind of like breaking into this area, we're also kind of like finding out that there is a bit of a mystery here, a very unexpected mystery of kind of what is actually going on with these Angarans. And yes, time for us to kind of like try and figure it out.
One of the things that I like is that they mention because we're with a team of Angaran resistance fighters at this point. Once we get into the palace, they're here to help us out and also to keep eyes on us to make sure that we're not doing anything too shifty. And they mention that while they have occasionally been able to succeed in raiding the KETT work camps, which is one that we raided earlier to rescue some of the Angaran, they've never been able to breach this type of KETT facility. And so what we are seeing for the first time is also what they are seeing for the first time. And no Angaran has ever returned from being in a facility of this nature.
And we're about to discover why. So as we are fighting our way through this base, we stumble upon a room where we can kind of like see out over like this giant facility and, you know, this unbreakable glass, so we can't shoot through or anything. We can do a scan of it. We get plus 10 points and it says this is unbreakable. And so we see these Angaran come out of these pods, or not come out of pods, but they kind of like Zangarans who are waiting with the KETT to walk into these pods. And then we watch other come out of these pods to become KETT. So it's like, oh boy. So Jaw's there and he's like, you've got to be kidding me. We're the KETT. Angarans are the KETT, which we'll learn later. It's not that simple actually, but Essentially, yes. What they are doing is they are re-educating them. They are told. So we never talked about like what the cat like are called, but like we run into chosen are the name of like the simple soldiers. And so what we kind of learn is, oh, they're being re-educated to believe that they're special, and to become even more special, they need to take on this KETT DNA and become KETT. So the reason they've never found any of these Angarans before that who have been to these camps is because they've become KETT. They become the enemy, which is really fun. If I'm being completely honest with you, it's kind of great.
I also like that. I don't know. Did you bring Jaw with you on this?
Oh yes,
on the mission?
I did. Yeah.
When he finds out that the KETT are just Angaran, he has a breakdown that I think is very real. Of like, I've killed KETT. I've killed my brothers and sisters, not knowing what they were. They've killed us, even though they hypothetically knew what we were. And the kind of guilty conscience of how did I kill people that I probably once knew, that I probably once loved, and had no idea, is a really interesting crisis of conscience, and I thought a really interesting story beat.
Yeah, really, really fun. And so at this point, we have the other Angarans. They're in the facility. There is a way into the base now. And so Jaal tells them what's going on. We need to free them. They are being turned into KETT in these pods. We have to free as many of them as possible. And so they bring in like scientists and engineers and soldiers into this base as quickly as possible while we're still raiding it, to start freeing these people, because like time is of the essence. As they're in these pods, they are turning into KETT, and so they want to try and stop that from happening. We continue to kind of fight way through the base. We finally find Moshai, and she is with a dude called the Cardinal. A very religious situation. And we see the Cardinal and Archon. Remember the Archon from earlier? He was the one in charge of the whole KETT race, apparently. At least from what we know at this point. And he's like, I don't care if she's not ready yet. You need to bring Moshai to me. So, yes, please, Storm Rage.
One thing that I want to note is that the Cardinal here, it feels like a unique or interesting boss, but if you raided the facility on Eos, the end boss of that was also a Cardinal. So KETT, except for the Archon themselves, lose their names, lose anything that identifies them other than their title. And I think that that's another interesting aspect here.
Yeah, so I think I'm going to talk about like the different KETT. I wrote it down later. I think I did, at least. The different kind of KETT that there are. And so, yeah, the KETT like leadership, they have these like personal shields and this like rotating shield generator that you have to take out before you can do damage to the actual leadership, which is a fun little fight. I'm playing a sniper, so it's actually not too tough, really, to just...
Oh, sniper builds are so easy to kill him.
I actually did this fight a couple of times because I'll get there in a second, but the first time it took me a second. The second time, I killed him before he even summoned any waves of soldiers. I was like, oh, wait a minute. This is actually super easy. What if I just take out that little buzzy thing and then a headshot, and then I win the fight?
Holy cow, Dano.
So the Cardinal and Archon are talking. Archon really wants Moshai, not necessarily to convert, it sounds like, but to like talk to or to get information from. We're not entirely clear, but the Archon wants Moshai herself. So we, at this point, the Cardinal takes the Moshai out of her pod to bring her to him. And we don't want that. So it's like, you know what? We're gonna kill the Cardinal. We got to stop the Cardinal from killing the Moshai. Moshai is right here. We have to kill the Cardinal to stop that from happening. So we do that. Some of us do that in a really easy manner. Others, it may...
Some of us, it's a 20-minute fight as you're jumping around, zipping around the place because you only have a shotgun, and shotguns take a really long time to kill this dude.
Yeah, and the longer you take, the more of like regular KETT soldiers come in to join the fight. So this fight could get, I imagine, because the more of those, you can't just leave them hanging about because they'll just kill you themselves. So the more of the regular KETT soldiers you have to ignore the Cardinal, go take care of the mooks, and then go back to the Cardinal. And then because you have to take down their shield again, because the shield does completely reform, you have to take down the spinny thing and then take down the shield, and then while doing that, more mooks come in. I can imagine this is a little bit of a long fight.
It is. Believe it or not, Dano, it is.
So we did it. We saved the Moshai, but now we have a decision to make. So the Cardinal turns out is not dead, and is like, hey. Because Moshe's like, okay, you have to blow this facility up. And we're like, whoa. And Jaw's like, nope, you can't do that because we have Angaran rescue teams coming in and we have to save the Angarans who are here. And the Cardinal's like, hey, I can actually free them for you if you just leave this facility in place. And so you're like, you're given a choice. You can either blow the facility up, or you can free them via the Cardinal if you want to do that. So they were given this choice here of how we want to handle the situation. This is why I redid it, actually. So the first time I did what I think you did. Do you want to talk about what you did real quick?
So the very first time that I played it, I blew up the facility. This time around, I let the Angaran rescue teams try to rescue the Angara. And I rationalized that, like, yeah, I can blow this thing up anytime I want. And I'm the Pathfinder. I've path found, and I've path found my way here once. I can do it again.
And then, so if you allow the Cardinal to trigger to free them from the pods, what happens after that is done?
So if you let the Cardinal free all the pods, then the Moshai is unbelievably upset at you, and the Cardinal will be like, you've done the right thing. And my favorite aspect here is that while you agree to the deal of not destroying the facility, nowhere in the deal did the Cardinal say he had to live, and so you can do a cinematic action trigger to just kill the Cardinal, and I was so satisfied, because he's talking about the greatness and how we've made the right decision, and then Ryder just turns around and goes, shut up, bam, and it's so satisfying.
It's really, really good. It's really good. That was my first choice. I did that, and then I immediately went back to an autosave right before the fight, fought it again, and was like, you know what? I'm a busy lady. I've got places to be, civilizations to create. The Angarans seem nice enough, but not particularly competent when it comes to the KETT. So I think we need to just take care of this business right now. And so I tell Sam to blow up the facility. I wish there was like hey, we'll do like a 15-minute countdown and like let the Angarans who are currently there run away. Like, I wish that was an option. It's not, but in my mind, that was what was going on. That way, like, all those people that came, like, all those, like, first responders that came in to help, like, weren't just sacrificed because I couldn't be bothered to wait 5 minutes. I was like, you know what? That's just not great writing, so we're going to just write that in our heads. And that's actually what happened. So all those Angarans got out, or most of them at least. But the Angarans who were in the pods had to be sacrificed because we couldn't let the KETT control this facility again. So that's what I decided to do. And Moshai likes me for that. She goes, thank you for making the difficult decision. It needed to be done. And Jaw'll be mad. Jaw'll be mad. He'd be real mad. He is not happy with me. Won't even talk to me. He goes, you know what? You and I are not on good terms right now. I will talk to you later. So he won't even speak with you.
Amazing. We'll get to what happens if you do the other thing later on, because that is on one of my lists.
We get back to so back at Aya, Moshai takes us to the working vault, and with Sam's help, we are able to learn that there is an entire vault network connected to a fancy central vault called Meridian. And Sam and the Pathfinder and Moshai hypothesized that at Meridian, we could actually just fix all the vaults without having to do it one by one. So we have a plan and a goal, which is Meridian. Back on the Tempest, which is our ship, we are in the doctor's office, and she is like, hey, Jal is, because Jal comes in and he's like, hey, so doctor, what are we going to do about fixing the KETT so they can be Angarans again? And the doctor's like, you can't. They're just KETT now. They are fully converted KETT. And we have the option as Pathfinder to be like, hey, well, keep at it. Keep on hoping, Jal. Things will be okay. And if you do that, the doctor's like, no, he's delusional. We can't fix this. They are just KETT now. Or we can be like, hey, Jal, like, you need to just handle this and get by it and get through this. And he's like, that sounds hard and awful. And I don't want to do that. Which, to be fair, me too. That's for the recap for this week. What'd you think about that, Storm Rage? That whole thing.
God, I love it. I really like it. I think that we should wait for my thoughts until we get to the Naga sandwich.
All right. I have explanation of mechanics part 3. So, respec. So I almost talked about this last week, but I thought maybe I was crazy. But I'm not. I tested it out. Respec is bugged. So respec is just bugged. My first 3 or 4 respecs, they all just, the first one cost 1 credit or 20 credits. And then the next one costs 520 credits. And then my third respec cost 520 credits. My fourth respec cost 520 credits. I was like, oh, wow.
Which is the intended effect is respec, first time costs you 20. Every other time after that, it should be 520.
No. It goes up 500 every time is how it's supposed to work, but it doesn't work that way. So for me, the first 4 cost 520. And then after that, it jumped to 1,020. I'm like, oh, so it just goes up more. And then it went to 2,020. I was like, wait, what? And so then I'm currently at 5,520 credits per respec. I was like, okay, so am I just crazy? Because I respect my entire most of my party because I wanted to make sure I got the proper, I was just auto leveling them, and I was like, I should actually go get the proper builds to make sure we're doing this right. So I respect 3 or 4 characters. I respect myself 5 times. And so I tried out again, and then it jumped up to 6,520, and then 7,520. Then it started going up by 500 again. But so it randomly jumps up 500 or 1,000, but it's one or the other. It's so, I got to the point where I ran out of credit, so I couldn't keep testing it, but I did test it, and it does not go up just by 500 every time, which I checked the wiki is what it is supposed to do. It's supposed to go up 500 every time you respec, but it doesn't. The wiki doesn't say that, but I trust me, I tested it, and it definitely doesn't do that. So, but, whatever, it's fine. There's nothing else to spend credits on in this game except for respecs. The only thing you're using them for are respecs. So,
if you're not a crafter, you can also buy really good weapons with it.
Yes. Yep, if you're not crafting, you buy weapons. I did decide to respec one more time because I was playing a full, sniper soldier build without any cool powers, and that seemed lame. And so I respec to an engineer tech type sniper. So I have the sniper stuff still. I still have the stealth thing. I still have bulwark. But now I have a lightning shield zapping ability that could also detonate stuff that's primed by my companions. And so that's pretty fun. So now I can do that as well instead of just making my bullets better, which was just kind of really, really good and powerful. And I could fire the sniper rifle crazy fast with that. But it seemed kind of a bummer. I'm playing a magical space wizard. Why would I just want to play a sniper? So I added some tech stuff in there as well, which I've been enjoying quite a bit.
Hello, old friend. Let's meet for tea after the match, shall we?
Slurp.
Hey, say, what'd you do this week, Storm Rage?
So I basically main quested it because I had an issue with stick drift, which is not an issue I've ever had before. But I am unintentionally pretty hard on my controllers, apparently, and that both of my controllers I'd been pretty aggressively using, and I think it's between a combination of Armored Core, which I am just slamming those buttons back and forth all the time, and God, what's the other game that I've played a lot of? Who's to say? But Armored Core I play a lot of, and that I am very, very. I don't like throw my controller or anything, but I'm pretty fast with how I move my fingers, and it ended up being so bad that I just could not continue to play the game because I just I'd walk off cliffs, and I couldn't drive it in a straight line. Like, I could not go from point A to point B at 100 meters without going in 3 circles first, and it drove me so crazy. But I did succeed in a few things. I cleared out the monolith and the vaults on Voeld. I found a sniper who was hunting these annoying little beasts that turned invisible, and they asked me for help, and I said, yeah, you got it. And I didn't do that. But then I did a settlement, and the settlement was like, hey, we're doing great. Can you do these things? And I said, yes, but I didn't do those things. And then I finished up because I waited for my new controller to come in.
Nice. I had that same problem where it was like, but I was like spinning like hyper fast. I couldn't figure out what was going on. It turned out that my controller cord was on my keypad on like the left button. And so, so my bad. I did every quest in Voeld. Them all. I did them all. All the quests. Not all the quests. There are like hidden quests that you get where it's like, hey, you need to find 5 of these things. And it's not even tracked anywhere. And I didn't do that one. There's also one of those on EOS as well. Find 5 bodies. And it's like, the bodies are hard to find. And so they're like, I did all of it but this random task to find 5 McMuffins. Because it was fun. I had a good time with it. So the highlights, I will do the highlights here. So Cora, super big fan of the Asari. She is freaking out that we don't know where the Asari arc is. PB, less so. She's like, hey, you know what? They're fine and competent. They'll deal with it themselves. And Cora's like, we have to find it. It's really wonderful. It's really wonderful. I love space cultural appropriation. I love it. It's just so good. So Cora and I found proof that the Asari were in the area of the Voeld. We found like a crashed Asari ship where we hoped we were going to find some Asari. Unfortunately, they weren't there, but we did kind of find the black box. And so Cora is currently working through that to try to figure out where they are. And that mission is on hold until Cora gets around to it. I've stopped by her room like 10 times to see how she's doing. She's like, hey, I'm working on it. I'm like, cool. Okay. Yeah. Moving on, I guess. All right. I thought you were in a hurry, but no, I don't hate to rush you. I haven't been taking you on a mission, so you should have time, but okay.
What else have you been doing, Cora? What else?
There were some Ungarans who wanted to collect KETT biosamples to see what's going on there. So we went out and killed some KETT and found out that they are also analyzing species from the Milky Way, which means they have run into the arcs, which is kind of fun and exciting to learn. So they have like different like profiles built for humans, for Asari, for Krogans, and for what's their names? Turians. I got there. Turians. So that was kind of cool. So they have like these write-ups and kind of like makeups from our different races, which means which means the arcs have survived and that they are out there, which is neat and exciting to find out, but we don't know where they are. I helped PB with her secret project to learn more about Remtech, and she made one of the bots, like the Remtech bots that shoot at us, a friend. And so now instead of being red, they are green, and we can take it with us, and it will shoot stuff for us if we want to, devote one of our 3 skills to that, which I haven't because pets aren't very good in this game. But if you wanted to, you could. And sadly, PB doesn't use it. I wish I don't know why they didn't let that be her special power. It's so lame. I'm so sad about it.
Weird.
Yeah. So I wanted to build a base on Voeld to settle Voeld, but the director in charge of Voeld wasn't like super enthused about it, again, because this is like where like a lot of the fight against the KETT currently is, and they were like, we're still a little touchy on other races. And so I'm like, okay, cool, no big deal. And the wiki says this, the game does not, but the wiki is like, hey, if you want to get invited to build a base, finish these quests. I'm like, okay, let's go do that. So the first one is remove the heart. There was a big old KETT base with a giant shield. A different big old KETT base with a giant shield than the one we went to earlier. And yes, it is as confusing as it sounds. I was very confused because I thought I went to this KETT base when I did the one with Moshai. You did not, because you just transferred to another part of the planet. So this one you have to go and drive to. It's very frustrating. I'm just very, very confused until I actually read through on the wiki what was actually going on. But so I went to this second giant KETT base with a second giant shield. And this time, instead of using Sam to get through, I went through some caves and shut down the shield that way, much more normal. So we drive through the caves and we kill some KETT, go further through the caves, kill some more KETT, go up some stairs, kill some more KETT, go up some more stairs, kill some more KETT, go to the command center, kill some more KETT, go to the hangar, kill many more KETT, while trying to figure out exactly what I was supposed to be activating. Just activated everything. Finished it with not understanding totally why. Go up an elevator, kill the KETT prefect, which has the same exact type of mechanic as the prefect from Eos and the Cardinal. So the shield with the spinny shield generator.
Yep.
Take care of that guy and then get a ride home from an Angara lady. So did all of that, which was a big deal. So took down that base. Once that base was down, that shield was gone. So now we could do some archaeology. So off we go to another ice cave. And you won't believe this, but we had to kill some KETT. At the bottom of that cave, we found a secret entrance to a like special old Angaran zone. Couldn't get there, so we had to use some space dynamite. We walked into this cave and we found an ancient Angaran AI that had been running since before the Scourge, which is kind of exciting. We go and start talking to it, and it tells us a lie. Sam detects that it is lying. It then tells us another lie. Sam detects that lie again, and then one of the Angarans that we freed from the KETT wanted to take the AI to the surface, but the AI doesn't want to go to the surface. It wants to live with Sam forever. It then begins to electrocute the Angaran. We have to choose between destroying the AI and saving the Angaran. If we save the AI, we have to choose if we're going to let it just kind of chill with Sam forever, or if we're going to give it to the Angaran. If we kind of let the AI go free, it will kill the slave. So the only way to save the Angaran is to destroy the AI, which is a kind of a fun.
What did you do here, Dano?
I destroyed the AI. Yeah, because I was like, if I treat it like a person, right? Like, again, it's a tough decision, right? Because like if it's a person, it's being kidnapped, but like it's not a person, it's a chatbot. And so, clankers don't come before people. And so destroyed the clanker. But it was an interesting decision. And then I actually read up on what happens after this. And so later on in the game, this AI will actually come into what will be helpful in different ways, depending on what you do. Like it will actually be able to give you information on like stuff down the road because it was around during certain times when like things were working properly. Yeah, so it's actually a pretty cool thing. But yeah, it was like one of those fun decisions. And this one, unlike most of the decisions in the game, actually has repercussions. So like destroying the KETT base and freeing the Angarans or blowing it up has no repercussions in the story overall. This one does. So that's cool that they actually did put something in there like that. So I did the three things. The first thing being the main story quest. I was allowed to settle Voeld. The Angarans don't hate us anymore, so we can build a base. We can actually build a base whenever we want, but if we don't do those things, Director Addison gets kind of complainy. Yes?
We can build a base whenever we clear the monoliths and the vault.
Whenever we get to 40 AVPs.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you have to get to 40 viability. Whenever you get to 40 viability, you can settle it. Now, if you don't want the Angarans mad at you, you have to do these things to prove you are worth settling. And so if you do it before that, Dr. Addison would be like, hey, did you, I have the governor here, like down my throat on this. Did you like get permission? And you could be like, yeah, totes did everything right. And then, so like, okay, it's worth going and doing the thing. So I did that first. And I was like, oh, I must have a quest still to do because she's mad about this. I like the Angarans. I don't want to do this. So I went to the saver before I created it. Did the last quest I needed to do. Came back. She said the same thing. Like, even though I was fully invited, I was invited by the KETT to make the base. And she's like, hey, did you do all the things you were supposed to? And you're like, totes did. She's like, cool.
You know what's
Like,
funny?
Yeah.
She did not complain when I did it, and I didn't do any of those things. I did the main quest. I did the vault. That was it.
I killed a space dragon in the snow. Did you kill a space dragon?
Not yet. I am planning on it. I think what I'm going to do next is I'm going to swap over. I love my build a lot, but I think I'm going to change it to a sniper biotic build and do like the push pull throw with
And
a
then
little bit of
snipe him in the
invisibility
air?
cloaking. Yeah.
I thought about doing that as well. It seems I bring PB with me all the time now because I just like picking them off in the air. It's so much
It's
fun.
so good.
It's just the most fun. Like PB and I go everywhere together because I'm like, boop. So the space dragon fight has the same mechanics as the other space dragon fight. But this time it was in snow and it was like level 2 cold. So like you had to be really careful about placement and that kind of stuff. So it was a fun fight, even though mechanically it was very similar to the previous space dragon. And then the last thing I did was Liam and I became best friends. And this quest is a hoot. Did you become best friends with Liam in your last playthrough?
No, I didn't.
Oh man, I highly suggest becoming best friends with him. It is a super fun, dopey quest. So Liam really wants to become like best friends with like the Angarans and wants to play like peacemaker between Angarans and the Milky Way. And so the way he does that is by giving Angarans special access to the Nexus that they shouldn't have to like make friends.
Oh, Liam. Oh, Liam.
and then they disappear. And he's like, so some friends of mine, good friends, great people, all good people. They kind of went messing, and you're like, oh shoot, bummer, dude. We'll get around to it. We'll try and find them. He's like, yeah, no, kind of important. They might have access codes to the Nexus that they shouldn't have. And you're like, what? He's like, yeah. Because I wanted them to trust us. And you're like, why did you do that? And you're like, did you tell anyone on the Nexus? He's like, no, I didn't. I told the colonists on Eos. And you're like, why did you tell the colonists on Eos that you did this? Well, I thought they could help me find them. And you're like, well, Liam, they're just colonists on Eos. They're not like military they're just like people. He's like, yeah. But they're friends though. And you're like,
Uh-huh.
Liam, are you an idiot? He's like, maybe. I added that part, but it's heavily implied throughout the entire quest. So he comes up with this grand scheme. So he tells, okay, here's the last place I found them. So we go to this debris field where we last found them. He's like, okay, here's what we're going to do. We're going to hide in this debris field. And the pirates that took them are going to come and capture us because we have to find out what happened to them, because if they're being tortured, they can give these codes to access the Nexus, and that's bad news bears. It's like, okay, we're going to get captured, and then we're going to, uncapture them by getting captured ourselves. And we're like, are you sure? He's like, yeah, this is a great idea. And we're like, okay. And so we do it, and we get picked up all right, but we find ourselves in a giant KETT ship. And you're like, Liam, we're in a giant KETT ship. He's like, yeah, we are. This wasn't this wasn't part of the plan. And we're like, yeah, Liam, Nadoy, it wasn't part of the plan. And we immediately get attacked by space pirates. So some space pirates took over a KETT ship. So that's good at least. And we take care of the space pirates, and then we go and we try to like get out of the area. And Liam's like, here, just go to that access port over there and try to hack it. And we're doing that. The space pirate captain is like, what are you doing? And Liam's like, no big deal. Don't worry about us. And he's like, okay. And then he opens up the spaceport and tries to suck us out into space. And we're like holding on like for dear life. And Ryder looks at Liam and is like, this is a terrible plan, Liam. He's like, I know. And then the colonists from Eos show up. And they're like, hey, we're here to save the day. We're not warriors, but we're engineers, and we can take care of an old derelict ship like this. So they like clamp onto the side of the ship and like turn off the gravity and then turn the gravity upside down. So the entire ship is like on its side. So we have to navigate the entire ship sideways. So like all furniture. And so you're kind of climbing up and down the ship. It's really clever, really fun. So you have to basically go up sideways through the whole of the ship. A lot of fun. So we get to the bridge, kill the captain, and now we're best friends, and everybody is cool. And he's like, yeah, my fault. Go to the Nexus so they can fix the code situation. Sorry about that. my B. I totally learned my lesson. And you're like, I don't know that you did.
I don't know if you did.
But all's well that ends well. It was really a fun quest. And you really, by the end, you're like, Liam, you're kind of great.
I need to play that quest. It sounds like an absolute delight.
It is. It's super fun. And now I can use his rank 6 powers, which is awesome. Because you can't use anyone's rank 6 powers until you become best friends with them. So.
Taste my grilled cheese.
Munch.
I've got the first good, and the first good is amazing. It's Elcor Hamlet. You might remember Elcor Hamlet from such great games as Mass Effect 2 and Mass Effect 3. Well, Elcor Hamlet is back in Mass Effect Andromeda. Ryder likes to talk about how good Elcor Hamlet is. You can meet up with Jal in the community center or whatever it's called there on the Nexus, and he will talk about how amazing Elcor Hamlet is and how Elcor Hamlet is better than the original source material because of how much it adds to it. You might remember, okay, Elcor are the giant elephant aliens that they cannot speak emotion. And so they'll be like pleadingly, hello, Ryder, or stuff like that. They have to like tell you what their emotion, their feeling is. And so
yeah,
Elcor Hamlet, one would presume, is the Elcor saying what they're feeling instead of acting it out.
God, what an amazing bit to make a callback to. It's so good. I love Elcor. I'm so mad they didn't make it to Andromeda. I'm glad at least the discussion about them made it.
And one thing we learn about our good best friend, Peebee, she's an Asari, and you remember that Asari can have children with any other race. And so it turns out that Peebee's father was an Elcor. Yeah, go ahead.
I love it because if Drax is the one that finds out, and I think he usually is, then Peebee will be like, yeah, you don't see the family resemblance? With energy, I am Peebee. See, there it is. And it's so fun.
I heard it from Jal. I haven't even heard it from Drac yet. Oh, now I need to put them in the. Okay, the three of us are gonna be like grouping up until I get that scene because that sounds too good. Matt's not here because of Thanksgiving, so I've got the not so good as well. And the not so good is there are so many little bugs in this game.
Yeah.
Like nothing that breaks the game, like no game breaking bugs, but like a lot of very little bugs, like all the time, just a little bug here and there. There was one time I was like, oh, what's that little animal crawling on the ground there? it was just Cora's hair because she had clipped into the ground, and so all I could see was her hair. Yeah, which was nothing, right? But like, I was like, what in the world is
Yeah.
that? And then,
Yeah.
you know, I had a quest where I needed to survive 15 waves of a thing in 3 minutes. And then the 15th wave didn't show up. It just didn't. And so I had to restart the quest. Yeah. Enemies clip into rocks and still fire at you, and you can't fire back.
Yeah.
So a lot of things you have to like just save and restart, so that you're constantly saving. On the PC, I'm not sure about on the PlayStation. But on the PC, if you save or have an autosave in the Mako 2, it takes 5 minutes to load the game. It just takes 5 minutes to load the game.
Oh.
Yeah,
I
the
do not
game
have
just
that
loads. It loads up to 99% out of 100 and sits there. And you have to just wait and wait and wait and wait. And then it will eventually load in. So you always have to exit the Mako 2, save, and go back into the Mako 2, drive around. It's ridiculous.
I do not have that issue. That sucks.
Yeah, it's you just kind of have to pretend that you can't save in the Mako 2. But it's like, what are we doing? And this is a whole bunch of little things that you're just always kind of have to be aware of while playing the game, which is super disappointing. Because it's a good game, it's a fun game, but it is, and none of them break the game. There are no game-breaking bugs, really. Like, I mean, I ran into one
that we've come across yet.
The first day I ran into one, right, where like I got lost because the door wouldn't open, and I had to go to a previous save, and then the door would open that way, right? But like, there are a lot of bugs. It's kind of a buggy game.
Mm-hmm.
What's our best good?
The best good is the reveal of the KETT and how these KETT are like these DNA master race type bad guys that are clearly brainwashed, and clearly there is an undertone of like losing their self identity. But the idea of these, really any race being fully corrupted and fully brainwashed, and then accepting becoming KETT, and then knowing that like no matter who you're fighting someone that was at one point a person, and maybe somebody that your crew knew, maybe somebody that the Moshai knew, maybe somebody that anybody knew, and behind that KETT is a fully formed person that no longer exists. And that like push-pull of it is super interesting. I love that reveal. I love that these are just straight up bad guys, so I don't really have to worry about morality necessarily of beating them, because they're going to try to kill and manipulate and do whatever they can to any and all races, so you have to deal with them. And yet there is still that kind of conflict there, and that perhaps that guilt, and I just think it's really well done.
Very, very fun. Very fun.
He asks each traveler 3 questions. 3 questions.
3, that's a magic number. I will ask myself 3 questions.
Hey there, Storm Rays. What are you liking so far?
On each of the monoliths, we talked about it last week, that there are these little Sudoku puzzles that you need to figure out. And I had such a blast with them. I did all of these with Stevie sitting on the couch next to me, and so like, it's not an exciting or unique puzzle necessarily, but it's one that is just like, well done! It's Sudoku with fun symbols. And I think that it's really, really fun. It's something that I could play along with Stevie as she was watching on the couch, and it's just a fun, simple little thing. And you can bypass them, which I also think is good and are important, because if you don't want to deal with it, it does take a little bit of time on some of these. But I don't think I'm ever going to bypass, because I just like Sudoku. That's the real thing. I just like Sudoku puzzles.
And you can buy the bypasses for like dirt cheap at like any shop as well. It's like 100 credits to buy the bypasses. They're not trying to force you to do it, but I'm the same way. I'm not going to skip them either. They are pretty fun little Sudoku puzzles. They are little Sudoku puzzles. I was like, oh, I know how to do Sudoku now. New York Times Sudoku, here I come. And I went to the easy one, and I was like, I don't know how to do Sudoku. Real Sudoku is much more difficult than Mass Effect Sudoku.
Yep.
But I like the idea that I can take this skill and learn from it and then actually be able to do a real Sudoku puzzle maybe someday. So, yeah.
Yeah. When they do get more difficult, and when they do get more difficult, they do get closer to real Sudoku puzzles. These are very, very simple versions, but I am still a big fan.
I ran into the ones with different shapes already, so like a little bit larger with different shapes. They were fun. I have liked them quite a bit, and they are fun to kind of play around with, and yeah.
Dano, what do you like it so far?
The space dragon fights, they're good. They're fun. I was at first kind of disappointed because I was like, oh, it's the same space dragon. Like it's, and like, it's not like the dragons in Inquisition were like massively different. There were different, like, environmental issues, and maybe one was fire, lightning, there were ads or not. And so far, the space dragon fights and their phases have been pretty much spot on the same. They're both the same monster. You have to like kill them the same way. But what was neat was the way they used the environment as flavor instead of the actual space dragon. And so in the second space dragon fight in the cold zone, it was actually cold zone 2. And so like your like health would drop pretty quickly when you were outside fighting it. So you had to you were constantly this kind of like push and pull of getting back into the warmth and then going out and fighting the space dragon and back and forth. I thought was really fun and clever. And I think would have made for a much more interesting fight if I wasn't a sniper and just hung out in the warm zones and just sniped it. But I had to go to different, and they would take you to different like bases. So like it would like, the space dragon would go from one and then it would fly to the next one. So you had like traverse the cold while it was summoning in more REM tech, and you had to survive that. And then while getting to the next warm zone, it was clever. It's clever how they use the environment to make the fight seem different and interesting, even though the actual enemy was the same. So it was clever, I thought. What are you struggling with, Storm Rage?
I was so mad that Stick Drift made that game so unplayable, and it is crazy how every aspect of the game becomes unplayable. You know how Sudoku puzzles are really fun? What if you couldn't actually select the piece or the place that you wanted to at any point in time because it constantly shifted left? Driving's fun. You know what's not fun? Every time that you go to drive, you just automatically turn left out of nowhere. Combat's fun. You know what's impossible in combat? Aiming a gun if you can't look forward. And it was unbelievably infuriating. No fault to the game itself, but it was one of those moments where I was like, oh, this sucks. Dano, what are you struggling with?
There's like lack of diversity in bad guy. So there are like 4 different kinds of KETT and 3 different kind of animals that you will kind of find on every single planet without much difference from them, really. So for the KETT, you have the Chosen, which are standard KETT soldiers, and then you have Anointed, which are KETT soldiers with shields and an automatic rifle, and then you have the Digidestined KETT, which are KETT that use blue smoke, a shotgun, and invisibility. And those are the 3 KETT that you run into everywhere always, for the most part. And then there are the boss KETT that we talked about already with like the shield generators. And those are the 4 type of KETT you run into, at least so far in the game. Yeah. And I've 100%ed multiple zones at this point now, 3 zones. So that was, and then the space dragons also the same minus the environments. I just complimented that. I thought they did a clever job with that. But again, like very, very little diversity in what you're fighting against. And in this kind of game, that's kind of important because it adds difficulty to the game. It adds spice to the game when you're just kind of taking care of Chosen, Anointed, and Digidestined. Not much really. It feels very samey.
Yeah, I agree with that. And I don't remember the diversity of bad guys changing or improving in any significant way later on. So I do fear that might be an issue that persists.
What has surprised you about the game?
So last time I played, I listened to the Moshai and I blew the place up. But this time I decided to save it, and holy cow, the Moshai is not happy with you. And I went to talk to her and I was like, hey, so how are you feeling? And she was like, oh, so now you care about what I have to say about things? And I was like, oh, dang. It's a good thing I am in the med bay because I have a burn all over me. And the amount and this type of shade she throws is so unbelievable. And it absolutely, like, logically tracks. It doesn't feel like it's in, like, poorly placed. But it genuinely shocked me when she responded with, oh, now you care what I have to say. And I was like, ooh, that is a fair hit that hurts deep.
It's really funny.
Dano, what surprised you about the game?
The story. I think it's a really fun, good story. I enjoy the story with the KETT. I like the KETT as a bad guy quite a bit. I like the idea of we take you and assimilate you. That's never been done in any sort of sci-fi before. I don't think any sci-fi
brand new.
has ever like had this like, you know, this creature that would take all other sentient creatures and assimilate them into their own like hive mind. And that's not a hive mind, but like I'm kind of like imagining, you know, but yeah, so I do like that quite a bit. I joke, but I do think it's good. And I honestly hope that Mass Effect 4 is the KETT coming to the Milky Way. It'd be kind of fun to have them like start with, you know, a KETT invasion.
That would be fun.
Because like,
yeah,
what's to say they have our technology now, right? And it's kind of been hinted at a greater KETT culture that we're not aware of, really. And so what's to say that they didn't like, you know, pick up some tech from an Ark and are able to go to the Milky Way. And Asari live forever for the most part. And so Liara could definitely be alive 1,200 years from now, right? And so if they left right after to get there could be a KETT invasion. And then from there, I think it'd be a really clever way to tie the 4 games together into the 5th game. Why isn't it Mass Effect 5?
That.
Shouldn't it be Mass Effect 5?
No, because it's in the Milky Way, so it's Mass Effect 4.
Yeah, so that I do kind of hope that we do get the KETT. I think that'd be a fun way to tie it in. And it doesn't have to end with the KETT. I don't think the KETT have to be the bad guy, but they could be like a bad guy, right? A threat.
Yeah.
That could.
Yeah.
So I think that'd be pretty fun.
You want to buy some death sticks?
You don't want to sell me death sticks.
I don't want to sell you death sticks.
You want to go home and rethink your life.
I want to go home and rethink my life.
All right, Storm Rage, sell the game for both of us because I just read yours and I can't top that. So you just go ahead, sell the game for the entire podcast, Storm Rage.
Be cold on Voeld, be bold and the KETT will fold.
Yep, perfect. No notes, nailed it. Next week, our team talks down to us like we're not good enough to be in charge. That's it for this week. Thank you so much for listening. Thanks to all our patrons for patronizing us. You can find links to our Discord and our content information and our Patreon in the link tree of this episode. And remember that Mass Effect Andromeda is a game, and games are supposed to be fun.
Yeah! Let's path find until we're path found, baby.
This is the end of the show. Everybody bye!
Did have quite a bit of fun on the 2 planets I played this week. So both Voeld and the one we're talking about next week. Both very fun planets.
And I think the best planet that both you and Matt will like the most is Kadara. Kadara is, I think, the most fleshed out of the planets as far as ways to interact with it. And it's a legit bummer that it's so late in the game, because it's so late in the game.
Ah, it's too bad. So I was thinking about it while we were talking, and the KETT are just kind of Reapers in that they are taking other beings. Think about like with the Reapers, they're like bad Reapers, right? Because where the Reapers take other beings and turn them into greater, more dangerous versions of themselves, the KETT take them and then turn everyone into a faceless mook.
Yeah, it is. The KETT are there's certainly a lot of similarities, right? This thing that will transform people into inhuman versions of themselves. The reasoning and the logic and the how they do it is all different, because like the Reapers do it so that way AI doesn't destroy everything, and they fear that if they don't reap the races every 50,000 years, then eventually they will be unable to do so, which eventually does happen. Whereas the KETT are just like, more army? More dudes? More people, yes.
It is fun that like the KETT seem to be sort of mindless, but then you like find communications and they're definitely not mindless. They like have like they're political and they're like they plan and they do all these different things. It's almost religious at some point. It's a fascinating kind of culture to kind of run into. I think I do enjoy it.
And one of the things that bugs me out is that I don't think we certainly won't find out everything about the KETT in this game, because they had intended for this to be a trilogy so they could release information about the KETT as they went. And it's a genuine bummer that we won't be able to see like the fruition of that.
Maybe we'll see it in Mass Effect 4 when we run into the KETT again.
Maybe if Mass Effect 4 ever happens. Can you imagine if Mass Effect 4 comes out next year in time for Mass Effect Xmas Effect?
Oh man, don't tempt me with a good time. Like, how great would that be? I mean, we don't even have like a trailer of a trailer of a trailer yet though, so.
We do have there is one trailer that released, boy howdy. Let me check. It released 4 years ago. There is a like 30-second thing of Liara picking up an N7 helmet, and that's all we get.
Why is she picking up an N7 helmet?
No one knows. They've never described anything else about it.
It's very Elder Scrolls, where we're celebrating the 10-year anniversary of the announcement trailer of the next Elder Scrolls game. Oh, jeez. All right, that's it for this week. Thank you all so much for listening, and we'll talk at you again next week.
Bye-bye!